Today, we're going to talk about how you can subdivide one of the brain-friendly reading lesson pages into multiple lessons in order to meet the different needs of your students. There are a handful of pages in the program that have multiple skills on them. We'll be looking at dividing lesson page 113 into multiple lessons, and we'll also create a lesson plan for teaching the sound of X. Lesson page 113 includes 5 different skills. 4 are listed at the top: QU, X, Y yarn, Y, Y gym, I, and Y consonant E type I. The words for these skills are grouped together in sections on the page. There is an additional section at the bottom that reviews the 1-1-1 doubling rule. It is not advisable to teach all of these skills at once, but you may find that some of your students might not need extensive instruction on reading words with a particular sound, such as X, QU, or Y, because they have developed automaticity with these sounds from tapping the charts. If that's the case, they may benefit from just a quick review lesson with these sounds. There are many different ways you can divide the skills up, but I will show you 3 possible options. Option 1 involves dividing the page into 5 separate lessons. You may choose this option for those students who really struggle with learning and applying new sounds to read words. Lesson 1, X says X, is in the red section. Lesson 2, QU says Qu, is in the yellow section. Lesson 3, 3 sounds of Y, Y yarn, Y, Y gym, I, and Y consonant E type I is in the green section. Lesson 4, QUA says Qua, and WA says Wa, is in the blue section. And then you have a review of the 1-1-1 doubling rule in the purple section. Now, the 1-1-1 doubling rule is introduced and taught on the previous lesson page. So this part can be done as a review activity only if you have explicitly taught it. Note that the words incorporate all of the skills from this page. So this section should be used after students have been taught all of the skills on the page first. Option 2 may be beneficial for students who are able to learn and apply more than one skill at a time. You may have students who can easily read words with X and QU, so you could combine the 2 skills into one lesson. Lesson 1, X and QU in red. Lesson 2, 3 sounds of Y in green. Lesson 3, QUA and WA in blue. And then the review of the 1-1-1 doubling rule in purple. Another option may be to teach all of the consonant sounds first, X, QU, and Y yarn Y. Then teach the 2 vowel sounds of Y, Y gym I, and Y consonant E type I, followed by QUA and WA, and the doubling rule as a review. Now, these are not the only options, and there is no right or wrong order for teaching the sounds. You may decide to teach QU, QUA, and WA in one lesson. Choose the option that is best for your students and the sequence that makes sense for you. When planning your lessons, you can use the 2 game pages that follow. The first game page consists of cards with mostly single words on each card. And the second game page is more advanced with multiple words on a card in short phrases and sentences. Choose the words based on the target skill you are teaching and make more game cards using the words from the lesson page with that same target skill. You can then use the cards to play games such as Go Fish, Memory, a game board, or Bingo. You can find directions to these games in the back of your training companion guide on pages 261 through 265. So let's plan a lesson for teaching X. Here I have the top portion of my lesson planning page. This shows the beginning of the lesson. When planning a lesson, the table of contents is a very helpful guide. The lessons and tapping charts are listed sequentially, and each skill builds upon the previous skill. This lesson is found a little more than halfway down the page and is taught after three-letter consonant blends. As you can see, the charts that have been introduced and tapped up to this lesson are the first chart, the short vowels chart, the blends chart, and the vowel teams chart. We always begin a lesson by tapping the charts because it warms up the brain. Choose 2 at the most to tap each day. In my plan, I have chosen to tap the blends chart and the teams chart. And in my notes section, I have indicated how we are tapping each chart. We will be tapping the blends chart backwards with no pictures because we've been tapping this chart for a long time and we're at that point. We will be tapping the teams chart all together because we've only been tapping that for a few weeks now. After we tap the charts is sound dictation. Choose sounds based on what you have observed of your students. For example, which sounds do they need more practice with? Or do you want to know what sounds they're able to retrieve that have been previously taught? In my plan, I have chosen a combination of sounds from the previous lessons that have been taught that are in the blue section on the table of contents. In my plan, I will have the students write the sounds. Ink, ang, str stir, spl spool, scr skr, y baby e, and x. After sound dictation, we will do a review activity. The activity I have chosen is a 3-letter blend activity since this was the previous lesson. We will play a short memory game by choosing 5 matching pairs from the Go Fish cards. This next part of the planning page is introducing the new skill followed by word study. My plan says we're going to write X 9 times and then follow that by arm spelling these words orally. Mix, wax, fix, next, flex, and sandbox. My notes say that we hear the x sound at the end of most singular words. So when we arm spell these words, we will talk about where we hear the sound. After arm spelling is word study. Choose no more than 2 out of the 5 choices. I have chosen to mark and read words from a word list, and I pulled this word list right from the lesson page. We will highlight the X, say the sound, then read the words. After we have marked and read all the words, we will arm spell and write words to make a game board. Arm spelling and writing the words with the target skill is a spelling focus, and it also helps to map the words into memory. Take the same words that the student marked and read, and now dictate them for the student to arm spell and write on the game board. The next part of the lesson includes sentence work. You can decide to do this part before or after playing the game. You have several choices, but just choose one. In this plan, I have chosen 2-part sentence matching. Students will mark the target skill, then read the words with the target skill, then read the sentence parts and put the parts together to make sentences. The end of the lesson is where the meaningful repetition and fun takes place in the form of game playing. The game board has been created by the student in the word study part of the lesson and is now ready to play. And that completes our lesson for X. You can send home the game board to be played for home practice along with the charts that you want the students to tap. So that concludes our Tools in 10 on how to divide a lesson page that has multiple skills and creating a lesson plan to teach the sound of X. I hope that you found it helpful so that when you teach this page, you're able to divide the skills into lessons that will be most beneficial for the needs of your students.